Video we will be speculating on what could possibly be going to Planet Coaster number 2. We are just going to be talking about what could possibly be added to the game, which type of coasters could be coming to Planet Coaster 2, what could be featured in that game, because we currently have Planet Coaster and they do have okay variety of types of coasters, but the industry is getting better and better, so they might have to add these crazy and cool coasters to the game in the near future because this is what people want. They like to experience something new. They want to build a new type of coaster. They want to see how much skills they have for the game. So we're gonna be talking about the possible coaster types that could be featured in the game. But before we get too in depth with the video, I'm just letting you guys know that I'm not playing the game. I've just done a video earlier. If you guys just saw that, it had to be deleted because the animation of the video was way off when I was playing a little bit of the Planet Coaster. So just to take note, if you guys saw the video before it got deleted, just letting you know that I'm trying to uh, redo the video because so that everything will be perfect and so that you will understand what I'm trying to say here. So without further ado, let's get to the types right now. So the first coaster that I want to talk about is the Rocky Mountain Construction or RMC Raptor coaster. These are the latest model that RMC came up with, and there are a couple of coasters like that within the United States. We have Railblazer, California's Great America. We have Wonder Woman, Golden Lasso at Fiesta, Texas. We have Jersey Devil coming to Six Flags Great Adventure, but that is still under construction and it's been delayed. And Magic Mountain is already planning to get one, so it would be a nice feature if that coaster type was added to Planet Coaster number 2. So yeah. Uh, next coaster that I really look forward to. This is like one of my favorite coaster types, among with the premier rides launch coasters such as the Skyrocket 2 and West Coast Racers and Skyrocket 3 with Full Throttle. That's also one of my favorite coasters. But I'm looking forward to seeing the Premier Rides LIM launch coaster. Now, um, this is an old school type, but I just like it because I do remembered how they look. I mean, I've seen them on online, the pictures of the LIM launch coasters such as Poltergeist. Have not ridden one in my life, but I've seen them online, so they do look unique. I do like the trains on them really cool. To be honest, and there's also Mr. Freeze at the Six Flags parks. So they're still in operation. So looking forward for the LIM launch to come to Planet Coaster 2. One of my favorite coaster types. So be cool. The next coaster that I want to that is on the list right now is the Intamin Blitz, like what you see in Maverick at Cedar Point. That has been mentioned a couple times back and still haven't happened. But if Frontier is watching, or any of the developers of Planet Coaster, if you're watching, if you ever make Planet Coaster 2, please add all these coaster types in the game. That would be really cool if you guys did. So, Intamin Blitz, yes, I'm kind of looking forward to that, but I've built like a couple of them. So, but I use the Vector coaster. I'm not sure if that's considered as a Blitz, but for most of you, probably it looks more like a mock sitting coaster. So, doesn't seem to be an Intamin Blitz, but I just use that for now, just because it's not featured yet in within the game. I mean, Planet Coaster 2 is not out yet, so we wouldn't know what they're planning to do. So yeah. Uh, next type, on the list, we have a Intamin Hypercoaster. We've seen one at Energylandia with Hyperion. So something like that in Planet Coaster 2 would be very nice. A lot of people will really be creative, and I want to see who will design the best Intamin Hyper on Planet Coaster 2, and hopefully things will happen. Uh, so yeah, the, uh, the next coaster that I want to list that is on the list is a, we call this an SNS compressed air launch coaster. We've seen one in the United States with Max Force, but we should be able to build a custom one and not just have a blueprint of Max Force, because that would suck. So I hope they're gonna let us build a custom SNS compressed air launch coaster like Max Force, but with a slightly different layout. So of course we need to be creative. So yeah, and it's fairly new to the coaster industry. I mean, there's ones in China, but we haven't seen one here in the United States, and the one in the United States looks a lot different than the one in China. Correct me if I'm wrong. So yeah. And speaking about SNS, I do have another SNS on the list, and this is an SNS 40 free fly coaster. We've seen these pop up at Six Flags parks, one in Japan and one coming to a non-Six Flags park, that is Adventureland in Iowa with Dragon Slayer. So that is what they're missing in their lineup on Planet Coaster. But eventually, Planet Coaster 2 will have that coaster type. So please add that. That'd be really cool. And I'll try, if I ever get Planet Coaster 2 and it's featured in the game, I will try to be very creative with the free fly coaster and make it better than the existing ones in the world. Now, eventually, the only downside about them in real life, it's getting cloned everywhere. The original one from the original Batman the Ride at Six Flags Fiesta Texas. So yeah, and we also have another SNS on the list once again, and that is a SNS Axis coaster. These are actually the new coaster concept that IAAPA just announced, and that not from SNS. So this was announced in IAAPA. So an Axis coaster would be nice to be featured in the game. So like they've done a future coaster type that hasn't existed yet, and that is the RMC T-Rex. But if we're talking about an Axis coaster, we want to make sure that we can try to do a custom layout, and I'm pretty sure, I guaranteed 100% we can do a custom layout for the SNS Axis coaster if it's featured in the game. And you can also change the colors. It doesn't have to be red and gray, but that would definitely be very cool. Next one on the list, we have a Intamin Zack Spin coaster. There is only one in the United States, and that is the Green Lantern First Flight. But instead now it's becoming Vipere at Canada. I mean, it's technically not in the United States anymore, but it's the only one in North America. So it's going to Canada actually. So it's being called Vipere, and it's not opening till next year according to things. But it would be really neat if Frontier can add that to the game for Planet Coaster 2. So I'm really looking forward. I hope the industry will be brighter. I mean, not only industry, but the game will be a little bit better compared to this one. So yeah. Next up on our list, we have a Mack Power Splash, and that is considering Pulsar at Walibi. I think that was Belgium or Holland. We are now seeing Aquaman Power Wave coming to Six Flags Over Texas next year, so that'd be neat if they could feature that in the game. So, and they also heard that they have a power loop, but I think it's more better if they do the power splash first. But they can go either way. But they're both very similar. So I mean, at least they can just add a loop element on the power splash coaster type in the game. So that would be pretty cool. Uh, Next one on the list we have a I'm still thinking what I have on the list. Gosh, we have what do you call this? We have the coasters from RCT3. So uh, we do have the extended and the robotic coaster. Those are really cool from back then when RCT3 was a good game. So eventually this will be featured, but I'm not sure if it's going to really look good in the game for most of you guys. But if you guys do agree that it will look good, then there's they can potentially add that to the game. But I just don't know if that's going to be considered for Planet Coaster 2. So yeah. Next one actually I want to kind of talk about is the one of the old. This is another old school coaster coaster type, and it is the Mog bobsled coaster. Now, not sure if it's already featured in a pack on the original Planet Coaster, but if that's actually the flying turns, then possibly they could add in the uh, mock bobsled coaster for the next game. So I'm hoping that's true though. I think we have the next we have the new Intamin coaster concepts that just came out recently or yeah, currently, and those are the single rail coaster and the inverting launch coaster. So they have their single rail water coaster, but I don't even know if that could possibly be featured in Planet Coaster 2. But I know the launch inverted coaster would most likely be featured, and of course we can try to make a custom layout if we could. So yeah. All right, so the next one that should be featured in the game is the Skyline Skywarp and the Horizon models. Uh, now, now eventually, I don't know if it's possible for us to create a custom layout from Skyline attractions, but they are considering it as coasters, so most likely it will be under the coaster category instead of the rides category. But they can go either way. But I'm pretty sure that it should go under the coaster category. Um, so yeah. We also have what do you call this? We have the RMC launch coaster like Lightning Rod at Dollywood. This would definitely be the one that's most talked about. So the problem is, it, problem is, I don't know what the developers will do if it's gonna be a straight track section or there's gonna be a choice of yours if you can either make a launch lift like the Incredible Hulk at Islands of Adventure, or you can make it straight away launch like the other launch coasters you've seen. So or we've seen. So probably there's going to be a choice with that eventually. Um, I forgot to mention the coaster that should really be featured also is the new generation Vekoma MK11 coaster, like the Abyss at Energylandia. That would be really, really cool. I really look forward to building one in the near future. And so probably if I get Planet Coaster 2, that is really what I'm looking forward to. So yeah, pretty cool. Also, we want to also talk about we call this. We also want to talk about the Gravity Grip family wood coaster, like what you see with Kentucky Flyer, Oscar's Waxy Taxi, and I think Switchback is one of them, and Mind Blower. We would want to see an Gravity Grip wooden coaster, especially we're looking forward if they can feature inversions with the coaster and add in these crazy barrel rolls and corkscrew elements and crazy 90-degree maneuvers. That would be pretty cool, and they can possibly add a setting where you can have steel structure or wood structure. Now I don't know if they can do that as a setting. It might be difficult for the developers, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I think that's gonna be a problem with the developers to just have that option with. But you know, they're gonna try to be very creative with the game. You know, it takes time to make a game, so they have plenty of time to do the coding and everything. So definitely, I don't think anything is impossible because the developers do a great job on those kind of things. So eventually, we can see an option with either this hybrid structure or the wood structure for the Gravity Group wood coasters. So now we've talked about the coasters. Now I want to talk about the the flat rides. So the only things that are missing are the observation tower. Uh, what else? The Intamin drop tower, like Supreme Scream at Knott's Berry Farm and Power Tower at Cedar Point. So those are the flat rides that are missing, and there's one more that is the giant drop, which is attached to either the reverse freefall coaster or the Intamin Strata. So that would be pretty. That would be a neat feature if that could be featured in the game potentially. So that's probably would be turn out to be a better game if they were to add those features. So once again, Frontier, if you watch the whole thing, I hope you got the point because that would blow everyone away and everyone's gonna want to buy your game. So eventually, I hope it's true. So we have another thing that we also want to feature in Planet Coaster is we can potentially be seeing a working water park. Now I've heard this from a YouTuber. I think his name is I forgot his name, but I think it's Dan something, and he did made a couple of water parks. But those are just really just a custom scenery. But please Frontier, please feature a water coaster and all those pro slides, water slides such as the capsule slides and the body slides and the mat slides and the tornado and the toilet bowl, etc. And add in pool complexes. That would be that would be a neat feature for this game. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a pack. If you don't want to, you can make it included with Planet Coaster 2. But water park would also really look very cool. So yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you want to see come to Planet Coaster number 2? What coaster type are you looking forward to building in Planet Coaster 2? Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.